Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and I am joined by Maryland.
Howdy, gamers.
So, last episode, by the way, this is turn 99. We're getting very close to 100.
Awesome.
Yeah. Last episode, we had Pelagia put up Gift of Health, which he had mentioned to us before that he really wanted to control it. And he was debating on whether it was worth it and how we would control it. You know, when Pan could potentially, keep it locked down with his high nature income. Maybe he needed to kill Pan first. All these things he was thinking about, and it was all with the objective of basically killing the blood economies by doing Armageddon spam.
Right. Which he has been talking about for quite a long time.
Right.
That would happen.
And the other news, of course, is that this is the first turn of the Vanheim-Pelagia conflict, part 2.
Right.
Vanheim had basically sent us a message saying he was concerned that Ulm and Pangea weren't able to do much against Pelagia, so maybe he needs to help after all. And he's been building up a ton of forces. So he's probably much stronger than he was. So we have a lot this episode, but we'll start with the diplomacy. You want to read this one?
Sure. Okay, this is from Kirby. I forgot a message from the turn before, which is that even though I have an NEP with Pelagia, I have talked with him about taking the Pawn province in 174. This is because Pan asked me if I could do that. And at this point in time, I'm actually keeping up the illusion with Pan that I'm still fighting Pelagia. Okay. I'm doing this because Ashdod and I are in talks to go to war with Van. Oh, okay. So that was one of our predictions that we thought might happen.
Yeah.
And try to eat him right as he is about to start fighting Pelagia. This is probably my biggest gamble yet to stay relevant in this game. You remember from before, like a decade ago, when I said I felt like we should gank Van when he was weakened after losing to Pelagia? Yeah, I regret not doing that. So my hope is that Pan and Pelagia are big enough to not have one collapse and win the other the game. And my other hope is that I can trust Ashdod to stick in this war. Otherwise, it'll probably just be Van's beat down on Ulm round 2. Like I say, risks. So I keep saying that Armageddon spam is coming, and so we all sold him our nature gems to try and overcast Gift of Health. Personally, I'm not expecting it because as Arco knows that Sai doesn't know... Okay, that sentence is giving me trouble. Because as Arco knows that Sai doesn't know, it's exactly not the world against Arco. But I've been wrong before, so we'll see. That was a difficult
Yeah, I'm
sentence.
not even sure what he means there.
Arco knows that Sai... Yeah. No. I still can't make sense of it.
Well, one second. Okay. That's interesting. There's a bunch of messages also from Pangea, from other players about Armageddon spam. The sheer grotesque micro that it takes to get ready for apocalypse spam is truly the stuff of nightmares. And this means you don't want to have any items. I'm sorry, my phone's going off. I thought I had it on mute here, but here we go. But this means taking all the items which are on mages which could die. And what did we say that Armageddon was? Was it 10 armor negating damage or something like that? Or 14 or
14.
Maybe it was armor piercing.
Yeah,
I can't remember, but maybe you looked that up.
Well, it's on the... Yeah, you have to go to the wiki and look up Wish and... Hang on.
Yeah, why don't you go look it up while I'm talking about it? So,
yeah.
You've got to get all the items off of guys who can die from Armageddon and put them on guys who can't. And then in addition, some important mages you may need to protect. And you can sometimes protect by giving them like a Twist Fate amulet or something like that. So anyway, that's that. We have a message from Ashdod. Welp, gift of...
What?
Yep.
I found it. It's 15 DRN armor piercing.
15 DRN armor piercing, okay.
15 plus DRM, armor piercing.
All right.
So that's a lot of damage.
Yeah. Well, and what percent of dudes is it? 50% or 25%?
20.
20, okay. Okay. Well, with Gift of Health going up, that's a bit chilling to my power rank climbing aspirations. Vanheim should be attacking Pelagia this turn. I suspect Pelagia can handle it just fine, though, with some new tarts probably turning on. Thinking about the implication of directional dwarves for the underwater wars, normally can't cast darkness in the ocean, so that's a boon to Fiends of Darkness. I believe Pan has amassed a few. Also, the combo of Storm Demons and Darkness really nerfs precision, countering a lot of Pelagia's Farcaster Bliss. It's also very good for the elves, who don't like spells that target their defense. I mean, elves have very good defense. I don't know why targeting defense would be a thing. Mass Flight, even in storms, negates the earth ones. I guess he's thinking like Earth Grip and things like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see what he means. Prison of Fire is actually one of my favorites, but precision becomes terrible. Similar issues for Web, Vine, Storm, etc. Probably leaves stacked attack, fatigue, trample as primary. Also, some ranged weapons work underwater and in storms. The Piercer and the Ethereal Crossbow. I'm expecting Van to time his fourth dwarf for next turn. I also expect him to hit the pond to the south of the Throne of Death for his own underwater arena like Pan had. Pelagia moved a real army onto the Throne of Death to probably say enough is enough with the nibbling. Yeah, that was last turn we saw Pelagia move a pretty sizable force to kick Pangea off that throne.
Right.
All right, Sai expects Apocalypse from Arco, but I'm expecting Tarts and SCs for now. Apocalypse probably later if he tries to break out of his pond. You guys might want to look at the variable artifacts and track those a bit for strategy implications. Last turn, Pelagia showed a few on the Death Throne. We've been looking at some of them, but yeah. A lot of the artifacts aren't super relevant, but some of the artifacts are very relevant. Anyway.
I don't think we can very easily sort of do a forger and then see what's still around. Can we do that?
No, we can't do that.
No, because we only have Astral.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm assuming...
So I think that's...
Yeah.
I gathered that's what he meant, is we would try forging and then see which ones are made.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, that's a lot of... we could do that, I guess, but it's kind of a lot of tedious little looking and whatnot.
It would have been easy if we had the capability, we could do it offline and have that kind of ready for when we cast. But we can't. So it doesn't matter. All
right, so I'm assuming Arco brought the fire range ones. Some good ones still hanging around because expensive and probably something that might get wished for, e.g. Gatestone. Okay. And then we have two events, Maryland. The entire Earth trembled in the most powerful earthquake ever seen. The earthquake meteors fell from the skies. Surely hundreds of thousands of people must have died. And then a duplicate message. So Armageddon was cast twice.
And it actually killed two of our little spy guys.
Yeah.
Do we want to see the effect of it on the score graph before we go further?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so
income. Boom.
Boom. Wow.
That's permanent. Now, the implications of this are pretty intense. What it means is that provinces generate resources that can be used to build military power, right? They can yield blood slaves, they can yield gold, they can yield gems. And when you start spamming Armageddon, it's basically getting rid of a ton of the gold income from a lot of things, and it's reducing the blood slave income.
Correct.
And so if we just take a peek around Pangea area, we'll see his cap is now, where are we? Pangea. It's now 28,000. So it's still a lot of people here. I mean, there probably was like 40-something thousand before.
45, I think.
Yeah.
I remember that number.
So it's down a lot. But he's still got a lot of places with pretty high population that he's able to blood hunt. And like this one before was probably close to 5,000, and now it's 3,000. Well, you can still blood hunt this.
Well, we can rough out the calculation. It's 0.8 times 0.8, so
yeah.
So 64%,
right,
of what it was. So 36% death,
right,
on the whole map.
The important thing, though, is we have the rebirth mod on, though. So especially as these things get really low, like less than 1,000, they're going to start getting like 200 population a turn. And even at 1,000 population, basically blood hunting is going to be 20% as effective as it used to be. So it's a major nerf to blood hunting, but
the first few casts of Armageddon will be the ones that do the most damage to gold and blood slaves.
Right.
The next ones will be just wiping out more troops.
Yeah, and that's of course the other thing is a lot of troops are gonna die here. So Ulm probably lost a ton of his mages. The other thing that's significant is all the people who've been doing the life after death business. The resulting dudes you get from that don't heal, and they don't also have a lot of HP. So they're also going to be losing a lot of their life after death mage core. And they're going to have trouble replacing them because they're going to have no gold. The goal of this is to make the game much more about how many gems you have. And that is an arena where Pelagia is extremely strong with Nexus up.
Correct.
And I'll be honest, we're not talking. I'm a little bit out of my depth here. I have never been in a game with Armageddon spam. Thankfully,
I have, but it would be 12 or more years ago.
Yeah,
and it isn't a lot of fun.
Yeah,
for anybody.
Yeah,
including the caster.
Yeah,
the micro involved in trying to save what you can save, forging you need to do. Your lab gets full. It's just a lot of crap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would call it cancer for the game because it just kind of turns it into a slog fest.
Well, we're going to see, though, because we're already at turn 100, and there are going to be very intense winners and losers in this.
Yes. Well, the other graph I really wanted to see was the army graph.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to see some big differences, I think, between who got hit the worst.
So
Ulm
barely got hit.
Mostly shook it off.
Yeah. Well, it's armor-piercing damage, like you were saying, so most of his troops are probably fine.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It hit Vanheim fairly hard. It hit Ashdod pretty hard.
And Pangea lost swarms of Maenads. So
yeah, but
doesn't care. And importantly, Pan, most of his important mages, like his Pans, are going to be fine. So,
see, if this hit before people had finished research, it's even more devastating.
Yeah,
because you're clearly not going to put gear on all your researchers.
I think Pelagia is a clear winner in this. The only problem that it's not free, right? He just spent 200 pearls to do this. Mm-hmm. And he could have maybe spent those pearls in ways that were going to, get him closer to winning, but he thinks this is the best way to do it. And it certainly improved his position. Is this the best way to spend pearls? I'm not sure. I think one important consideration for is this the best way to spend pearls is what did it do to Pangea? Pangea is still going to be blood hunting like crazy, I think, for a good long while. And a lot of his dudes are immortal, and a lot of his dudes generate free spawn. And those are, in my opinion, very important things when you go into this low eco world of the future where it's a bunch of ruins. Because other people, if they can't afford to buy troops, then your free spawn things are great. Yeah,
your Maenads now... Yeah, they kind of wrap up in their comparative power because you can keep making them.
Yep.
And he's not going to lose Pans.
Yeah.
What's the hit points on Pans? 28 or 30 or whatever.
I mean, I think he could, right? Because I don't think they have much protection. But
Well, 27.
if they get hit twice, they're probably going to die. But
Yeah.
it's only 20% of dudes, right? So it's like 20% of 20%. So what is it, like 4%?
Well, that's yeah. 0.2 times 0.2. I can do that real quick here.
So
yeah, that's only a 4% chance for any one pan to be hit twice.
Right.
Or any one unit of any kind to be hit twice by 2 Armageddons in the same turn. And next turn, they'll have regen.
Right.
So they'll be back up to full. Except, like you said, all of the unhealing constructs and long dead.
Yep.
Those are going to disappear from the game.
Yeah, I think for Vanheim, they have really durable armies. The armies aren't going to be affected so much. They're also, I think, going to be... I think their mage roster is much more susceptible. Like, these guys, with a bit of a DRN roll... Well, that's the cap-only one. Let's make sure. These guys, with a bit of a DRN roll, can still die.
Maybe, yeah.
If they get hit... First of all, if they get hit twice, they're dead, for sure. Right?
Yes.
And then
most of the nations this would really devastate with 9 or 10 hit point research magi or communion slaves are out of the game already.
Yeah. Well, and these guys also have, it only takes a 7 DRN roll for one of those Armageddons to kill one of these dudes. So
no, it's an opposed DRN.
Oh, okay.
Now you only get half your protection, so you're sitting at 7 plus a DRN against a 15 plus a DRN.
Yeah. So you just need 7 higher in DRN than the opposing one.
Yeah. So I could look that up, but I think the chances of penetrating through that are quite high. They're in the 70%, I think. Is that? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We could do the math.
But basically, I think it's fair to say that the Vanheim mage lineup is going to be much more susceptible to Armageddon than Pan.
Well, look at his dwarves.
Yeah, and the dwarves, forget about
it. They're going to get wiped.
Alm, of course, the mage core is going to take the main beating. The troops are going to be fine. Ashdod, I think, is pretty okay with all of this. I think...
Yeah, he'll shake a lot of it off.
Yeah.
I think Ashdod has a bunch of patrol chaff around.
Yeah.
Now, that's one thing, is people's patrol chaff is going to take a hell of a beating. You want to talk about the issue with blood hunting.
Yeah.
Patrol chaff is going to get devastated.
Yep.
Now, that's mostly a micro issue because you can get more of it, but you just got to keep getting more of it.
Right. Well, there's patrol chaff, too, that is going to be immune to this. Like, Great Eagles are one of them.
Corpse constructs.
Well, those don't heal. So that's a problem for them.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
But yeah, and then who else have we?
Anybody using hawks or wolves to patrol is going to get smashed.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at the happenings of this turn. We've talked a lot about all this. So we have this is a magic phase attack. He's done some long dead. What did we figure out this spell was? Carry on reanimation or something, or no? What?
Carry on reanimation. Not sure where the locusts come from.
Well, this is Plague of Locusts, so that's a spell.
Oh,
and then he just cloud trap pieces in a Windmaster, kills some PD. Are these the same?
Another one.
Oh, these are the same.
2 of the same thing.
Huh.
Yeah, 2 of the same thing.
And then a Van Jarl. Let's see how he kitted.
This guy's gear. Yeah, I'd like to see his gear. Hopefully he put some armor on. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this guy's pretty immune with the lion pelt.
Yeah.
That'll keep him alive.
And this is just a fair amount of PD. This is standard elf fare.
Yeah, so that's a fairly high commitment van.
Yep. But
moderately high.
But that's
cost.
how Vanheim rolls. And
and some horrors.
And then phantasmal attack. He's casting this against himself still.
Oh yeah, right.
An axe of hate.
Did you see the number of hit points on that Pearl Mage? It only had like 2 left after the Armageddons. Yeah.
I don't understand this at all, Maryland. What the fuck is happening here? He keeps doing this, and then...
What is he doing?
I mean, it's like he's trying to cast Life After Death. I mean, he does. But how do these guys get killed?
Points. That guy... See, look at this guy. He had 1 hit point. That one Pearl Mage. So he was almost killed.
What's supposed to... Maybe he had another mage here that got killed by Armageddon that was supposed to kill, like, do foul vapors or something.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. So he kind of hurt himself there.
Yeah. And, okay, so this was a magic phase attack that Vanheim had won.
Against...
Wait, this is Vanheim, and this is Pelagia. Somehow,
can you hit the colors?
Yeah. So Pelagia and Vanheim, and Pelagia normal phase moved into a province, probably well, actually I don't know what kind of province, but he normal phase moved into a province that Vanheim had taken in the magic phase, and now this is the resulting battle.
Yeah, well, the Sylphs trashed it.
Yeah.
Now, see, I believe Ethereal is going to be highly effective dealing with Armageddon, because it'll...
Oh, it's not magic damage.
I don't believe it is. No, it doesn't quite say, but it just says an armor piercing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be regular damage.
Okay.
So Ethereal should mostly hold up.
Okay, and then he's attacking Pelagia here.
Can we see that Vampire Lord? Or that one.
I'll take a look. I'm guessing he's naked. Maybe some MR gear. No, he's just naked.
No, he's naked. Okay.
Okay. This looks like another life after death thing that goes wrong.
Oh, good God, yes.
Was this guy supposed to cast? Okay, he's supposed to cast.
But it didn't trigger. Interrupted.
You shouldn't put this guy in the poison aura. He's in the poison aura is the problem.
No. Oh,
okay, so guys, if you're doing this, don't put the life after death caster in the poison aura. That's a zinger.
Yep.
And these mages, the thing is, so the other thing we probably need to talk about a little bit is how upkeep and abandonment work. So if you become upkeep negative, which probably everybody here is right on the edge of that or upkeep negative now, then your troops will start abandoning you.
Right, but your Magi
won't.
Like your commanders won't.
But it basically will put the game into a situation, especially once it gets cast a few more times, where you don't get any more normal recruit Magi. Like, the ones you have are it. So it makes losses like this more painful, basically.
So, yeah, one way to look at this is, other than summons, what people have now is what they'll have for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Minus the losses.
Yeah.
You know, armies are going to flatline or shrink steadily for the rest of the game.
Yeah. And I think this is probably going to accelerate the end of the game, which getting to turn 100, I think that's okay.
That's not a bad thing.
Yep.
Oh, a Heliophagus. Which one is it? I like these guys.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Oh,
wow. Oh, that's serious gear.
Yeah.
That's your favorite shield.
Oh, yeah, I love this thing, the Scotata Volturnus.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It's very good.
I hardly ever remember to make it.
I mostly just like it from all the times it's been used against me really effectively, because... yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Nice. So that's the Blood Death guy.
Yeah.
He's very good.
We got a raid here.
Silver Order. Okay. I'm guessing that Silver Order guy probably has some armor. Well, he's showing lion pelts, and that's a good choice.
Well, this is strange. This is the same setup. I thought Ashdod was telling us they were going to switch. They were going to move operations to Pangea, right? Because Pangea was going to give them a better rate.
Yeah. Well, not yet, I guess.
Yeah.
There we go. So that's the death gem generator. Going fine.
Nothing to see here. And then, wait.
Oh,
Okay, so that was his. Let's watch this with the Lich.
Yeah, something didn't work. Soul Vortex.
I can't do that. Blind and mute.
Oh,
No.
oh.
I'm guessing he just wanted him to die. And
yeah, get him killed and lose some of his afflictions when he comes back.
And oh my god,
that's probably just a suicide.
So he had magic phased on top of this fort, and I think, well, hard to tell which one this was with. I think this might have been the Locust magic phase, but this is a high commitment fucking army. I tell you what.
Yeah, holy cow.
Let's make sure these guys all have fire resistance. They do.
Look at how much damage some of them have already taken. I mean, the fight's barely started.
Who's taking... Oh, yeah, let's take a look.
Oh, look at their hit points on those magic.
We'll just do it here, or we can do it real fast.
Yeah, do it here.
Oh, yeah. The 1,
8, 5.
Most of these guys are fine, and then... Yeah, it's not that bad, I guess...
But how many did just straight die?
Yeah, well, that's what we won't know.
We don't know.
But it looks like he's got these guys adequately positioned, so they're not going to die from the fire aura, or the heat aura, because these guys are going to have a tremendous heat aura.
And, Vortex all over the place.
Yeah. And it looks like he's using these Great Eagles as siege chaff, but also as Soul Vortex batteries, which is kind of interesting.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got Lamia's here as Soul Vortex batteries, and yeah. Did these guys go berserk, the skin shifters? No, they don't. Okay. So he's also using these as Vortex batteries.
Ah. Okay. That's an interesting army there.
So I feel a little bad for Vanheim here, because he's doing this against Pelagia again. There's like facing into what's probably going to be a hard fight. And the knives are coming out behind him, which I can understand. Ulm and Ashdod need to make a play. And it's either attacking them or attacking Pangea.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last turn, is those are their two reasonable border routes they could go with, and they've decided. Yeah,
I guess they've decided Vanheim. I'm kind of partial to Pangea myself, but... yeah, I don't know. There's some argument though, if you go after Pangea, it might make more space. Like, well, no, I think in this situation, I don't think you backstab Vanheim. The thing is, if you backstab Vanheim, like Vanheim in some ways is doing God's work right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you backstab him, you're going to stop him from doing God's work. Who's not doing God's work right now is Pangea. Pangea is just poking Pelagia. He's not really doing any of that. I think you go after Pangea, but...
Well...
Anyway.
But we have the advantage of perfect intelligence.
Sure.
Or near perfect. So, we could look at this and go, well, this looks like a juicier route if you were to try to get territory.
And, some of this is just kind of like a preference or a gut assessment, So I don't think there's there certainly are right and wrong things that exist in Dominions. I don't think this is one of them. This is just my kind of preference in this situation.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think I think I would go at Vanheim, since they know that he's about to heavily commit, whereas they also know that they probably know that Pangea is poking.
Yeah.
And therefore is more ready to counterattack.
Yeah.
And that would be the other part of my evaluation if I was in their situation of which of the two ways to go. I'd be thinking, well, Vanheim's about to throw all of his good armies into a commitment.
Yeah.
In a couple of turns, they're going to be deeply committed, and he'll be fairly bare in behind.
Yeah. So, yeah, it could be he's a softer target, which is certainly something that would be a pro in attacking him. Game state-wise, I think it's maybe not as good, but if you don't win the war because they're too hard of a target, then, it's probably not a great move anyway, so... Yeah, it's like if they win against Vanheim, but they'd lose against Pangea, which move do you do? Well, I'd take the war I win in every time. Mm-hmm. So, Okay, well, we see, and Pelagia has a ton of dudes sitting here in the pond. Now, the nice thing about attacking with these locusts, and we don't know the before and after, but there's certainly not many candles here. So Pelagia is not going to benefit from a lot of gift of health in this particular province.
True.
And yeah, I mean, the skies are rumbling. That's the other thing I want to see, which is, do we see darkness? Okay, no. So, or we don't see storm either. So the final dwarf has not been summoned yet.
Correct.
It's also possible some of these Armageddons kill a dwarf, which might make it hard to keep that up. You can certainly protect them.
They're pretty tough, aren't they?
I have no idea. I don't think they're that tough, but I don't know. We'd have to look. I thought they were just normal dwarves.
I don't know. So let me get up while you look around.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I think things are going off.
Oh, no.
What?
Oh, no, they're going to die if...
They get hit?
Yeah, if they didn't get heavily geared, they're going to die.
Yeah.
12 hit points, 7 base protection. So that's a one-shot kill if they get hit. Now, it's only a 1 in 5 per cast that one of them gets hit, but
well, they
could very well...
He very likely killed some of them this turn, so... Yeah, I think you got to gear them. Well, this is a brave new world, Maryland.
It is.
The game, this is a major turning point in the game, and nothing is going to be the same. Or close to the same.
No, I agree with you. It's hard to say what the next phase is going to be. I mean, clearly, all of this negotiations and diplomacy we've read about in this turn and the last turn, they're all going to be going, because some of them said, no, he won't be doing the apocalypse right now.
Yeah.
Well, they were wrong. So I'm curious to see if we get messages swarming at us at turn 100 saying, oh, we got to reevaluate.
Yeah, I would have been in the side saying I didn't think it was going to happen this turn. I would have, like what Ashdod said, where like, okay, it may happen, but will probably happen later. I would have been in that camp. Sai was right, though. And I would have, it's not like I would have disagreed with Sai, but I just wouldn't have shared the same opinion. But Sai freaking nailed it. He let everybody know this is what was going to happen. He was preparing himself. Other people were kind of doubters, but Sai had it dialed in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah, this is going to be really intense. It's going to be really intense. And I think it also, I don't know if we talk about it here, maybe in some future episode, we'll come back to it. But if you knew this was Pelagia's plan all along to put up Nexus and then to Armageddon spam the world from this little toilet hole right here, what would you do different at the start of the game? Like, do you have to kill them? What do you do?
I don't know.
It's like, he's going to shit up your game. What do you do? I don't even know.
There's certain decision points. There's certain decision points where things could have been different. For example, when they let him eat Jotunheim, I think that was a huge error on the part of all the other players, because they really did. They didn't contest, and particularly Ashdod didn't contest the destruction of Jotunheim. And he was the one
he was busy with Zabalba at the time, I think, right?
No, I don't think so. I think the death of Jotunheim preceded the death of the fight between Zabalba and Ashdod. We'd have to go back.
No, he got Zabalba attacked him while he was going after Jotunheim, and so he had to pull. So the Jotunheim thing was a little earlier, but the Zabalba thing pulled him out of it, I think.
But in a way, that sort of highlights my point.
Right, yeah, there's other players.
Zabalba and Ashdod could have agreed to stop Pelagia back then.
Yeah, they could have joined in, and instead of fighting each other, they could have vultured Jotunheim.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just to make sure that Pelagia didn't get it. I think these guys, the whole bunch of them, except maybe Sai, sort of underrated the threat of this. I mean, you knew that it was a powerful astral nation that had a huge ability to generate pearls and was going to do Nexus and was going to do these big global plays. And if you let it get to the point where it got big enough to do it, things were going to get ugly.
Yeah.
I think you could have predicted that from the beginning of the game with the selection of nations.
Yeah, you could have. I mean, and the thing is, though, if they had denied him Jotunheim, it would have slowed him down a lot. Like, if they had literally totally kicked him in this lake, that would have slowed him down a lot. But I don't think it would have stopped it.
I remember a discussion
and it's
really
hard,
early.
Because the other thing is, Arco did Diplo so well. Like, you can't be like, everybody subordinate every decision you make to containing the fish. Because Arco is not the only threat in this game. You know, Pangea was a huge threat. There was a period he was about to run away with the game. Vanheim is in an extremely good position too. And if you're not subordinating everything to keeping the fish in the pond, then that gives them a lot of wiggle room. So I don't know what to do. I think Arco's just played this so well.
Well, I think your first question though was there writing on the wall that Pelagia was going to make this kind of play with Nexus, Wishing, and Armageddon? I think the writing was on the wall from the very start of the game.
It was.
I'm not entirely sure what the best way to do with it. Like, one option, you could negotiate something like, we can fight each other, but as soon as we see Pelagia step out of the water onto land, we pound it back.
Yeah.
We put a ceasefire on until that's done, and then we go back to what we were doing.
Yeah.
You could agree with something like that.
Yeah.
Like, all the land nations just make a coalition. Well, I've seen things like that.
Well, they kind of tried to, like, the game started and they came up with the Coast Guard thing. I think they probably abandoned that group, but...
Oh, that's right. I remember that. I forgot all about that. Yeah, you and I were... they had that Coast Guard. Yeah, that's right. And then, I guess infighting amongst them weakened that to the point where it didn't hold up.
It's the idea of, like, it's so easy for us or somebody in YouTube comments to be like, well, they just shouldn't have let the fish on the land, or, they should have just kicked them out, or they should have made an alliance. It's like, they made it turn one. They had the Coast Guard coalition, but as the game started, they made it. And look where we are.
Well, and then, you rational self-interest says, I'm going to do what's best for me.
Well, you have
Cooperation
to. Yeah, you can't
not be.
You can't subordinate every decision you make in the game to keeping the fish in the pond. It's just, that's too big of a constraint.
But I remember questioning one decision, which was way back when Pelagia first took the 3 provinces there on the north side of his pond.
Oh, yeah, with Satis.
And I said, why did Satis allow that?
Yeah.
Like, why not punch him back right then and keep him away from that?
Yeah.
And that, I remember distinctly going, I would not have agreed to that. I would not have agreed to let Pelagia fort that forest up and keep it.
Yeah.
I would not have agreed to that.
Yeah. I think
So as an individual decision irrelevant to any collaborative work or any coalition, that's one decision I remember disagreeing with.
But even that's a hard one, right? Because, like, do you want to piss off, like, you're not going to conquer them as Satis, right? And you do want to go have a war with somebody else that's profitable. Do you want these guys to come fuck with you while you're busy in your first war because you pissed them off?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's hard.
I'm just commenting. What I'm commenting on is that's something that seemed to me ineffective.
Yeah.
But your counter argument is valid. If you did that, would you hurt yourself worse than? Yeah.
I think letting them get Jotunheim, I think you're right. When you narrowed in on that was probably a danger thing. But I think too, it's like how you handle diplomacy. Every, like, context and framing is so important. Because if you're like, okay, Pelagia is a player now, they've gotten a second cap. Not the end of the world. Not a huge deal. Not a, that's not a big deal.
Cap?
You have to be thinking about Nexus and Armageddon spam. And if you could somehow make people think of that when they were thinking about Pelagia having this second capital, you know.
But they got the second capital and all of the other associated land.
Sure.
Not just the second capital.
But I'm just saying, like, this is in some ways the art of fear-mongering, right? Is that, like, what is fear-mongering, right? It's looking at some future state that you want to avoid. And if you're just like, oh, they're getting strong or whatever, it's not like that big of a deal. But if you're painting, if you knew they were going to do Armageddon spam with Arcane Nexus up at the beginning of the game, then them controlling this land is a bigger deal, you know? But you and I weren't talking about that when they took Jotunheim. Like, so they probably weren't talking about it in Diplo either. Like, okay, well, they've got it. Now think what's going to happen. It's going to be the Armageddon spam's going to be so much worse or whatever.
Yeah, we almost have to turn our brains off and forget everything we know and go back to turn 20 and look at it again and say, so if we were blank looking at turn 20, what would we say about this situation?
Yeah.
Or whatever turn would be just post-expansion, right, when the all kinds of shenanigans started up.
Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. I think we'll probably beat this horse pretty dead, but it's
yeah, but it was a good debate.
Yeah.
You know, points and counterpoints, and you can look at it from different perspectives.
You can. All right. Well, tune in next time, and we will see the shit show of messages I'm sure that is awaiting for us in the next turn.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.